September is full of changes. The weather, the falling leaves, football, flannel, etc. This month also signals a change in the world of fine pens. The Goldspot office goes from the laid-back summer vacay mode to prepare for war in the fourth quarter. Because anyone who's ever worked in retail can tell you October, November, and December can feel like a never-ending battle. While this time of year means longer workdays, it is also the most exciting time for new pen releases, as manufacturers love to save their best pens for the end of the year. The top 5 pens this month is just the tip of the iceberg and a preview of what is yet to come. But first, here's a quick disclaimer. These top 5 pens are based on sales, likes, comments, and customer reviews on Goldspot.com during September of 2021. This isn't our personal top 5 list or greatest of all time list. It's a list created by you, the fine people of the online pen community. First up on our list, at number 5, we have the Kaweco Sport Ultimate Gray. These two beauties here are retailer exclusives. They're the 3rd edition, and they are inspired by the Pantone 2021 Color of the Year Ultimate Gray, same name. They are available in 2 different trim options. You have either the gold or the silver trim option, which technically the gold is the Classic Sport, and then the silver is called the Skyline Sport. It's basically the only difference is their trims. Other than that, they have both the same translucent gray resin cap and body, as well as the grip section that's here, and the same stainless steel nib that's also provided on both pens as well, but just one of them is just the naked steel and one of them is gold plated. They are made from a very transparent, lightweight resin, which is injection molded, and the size of the pen is extremely pocketable. If I had a shirt pocket, I would just quickly throw that in there just to show you, but this is a very small sized pen that is great to just be able to throw in a pocket, throw in a purse, and it is a great pen just to be able to carry with you wherever you go on your work schedule or vacation or a trip anywhere. It's a great knock-around pen that you don't mind if it, let's say, gets banged around, or even if you lose it, because it's inexpensive. So it's a cheap date, as they say. So you notice that the Sport does not come with a clip. Although I do have the clips here, the feature of the Sport is that you have the cap is faceted. It's octagonally faceted so that when you have either the pen closed or you have it open and cap posted, it won't roll off on you. However, you could opt to purchase the additional clip, which then you could slide over the top of the cap and customize your Sport so that you can have a pocket clip, which would then also help just in case it does roll with enough momentum that it gets past the facets. The clip will probably stop it from rolling right off the table. So, but this is a neat little feature too, so that if you were to choose to clip this guy to a shirt pocket, your Sport can come with you wherever you please. The stainless steel nib is a number 5 size. It is friction fit into the grip section that's here. So it does take a little finesse to pull this out, which I'm not showing much of the finesse right now. There we go. So it does pull out nib and feed. It does not screw out of the housing that's inside of the section. So only the Al Sport or the Art Sports do. So the metal bodied Sports, you could unscrew the section housing from the section, but with the Classic Sport or with the Skyline Sport, the plastic Sports, you have to pull the nib and feed straight out. So these number 5 size stainless steel nibs are available in extra fine, fine, medium, broad, or double broad nib sizes. To fill the Kaweco Sport pen, we have an international size ink cartridge, which is included blue by default. However, instead of using the cartridge, you could also use a Sport converter, which I don't have here. It's a little syringe style type converter that would allow you to fill using bottled ink, or you could also convert this pen into an eyedropper. We do go over how to do that in a helpful quick tips video where you could see how to fill a Kaweco Sport 3 different ways. So By far the most convenient method, of course, being the cartridge, but if you prefer using bottled ink, or if you don't want to syringe fill your cartridges or eyedropper fill the pen, the sport converter is a great way to go. Oh, and I forgot to mention the most distinguishing characteristic of the Ultimate Gray, other than the fact that it's a gray demonstrator, is the fact that it also bears the Goldspot pen's brand mark. So it also has the Kaweco Sport on the other side too. This is a feature that Kaweco has implemented to any of the retailer exclusive pens that are sold anywhere in the world. So Goldspot's not the only one. There's also Galen and a few other companies that will have exclusive either sports or other Kaweco items. And to differentiate them from the regular collections or the other collector editions that are out there that are supported by the brand just by itself, or even like the US exclusive, like the Golden Espresso and whatnot, is that they require to have the brand on the pen. I know that's not, like some people say, it's overly promotional, it kind of cheapens the pen, but I think it's nice because then you know exactly, that this is part of this collection. Our logo is not too shabby. It's pretty nice when matched on there with the Kaweco Sport logo that's on there. But you could do either the gold or the silver, as you see here. Each pen is $27, and that's across the entire range of nib sizes. So a little bit of a premium over, let's say, the standard collection being only $2 more expensive, but online with, let's say, the dark olive Kaweco collection item that came out just a few weeks ago. So these sport fountain pens were introduced earlier in this month and have been met with some really great feedback, I think, from the pen community, and continue to be a really strong seller because this is a great time, being September. You're going back to school. You're looking for a nice, reliable, and worthy writing instrument to take with you, let's say back to class or back to the office, where you just want something that's going to be cool and not too office supply like, just enough of that fine writing goodness that and that's where this really comes into play, is that this is a nice pen that's not too overly flashy, but yet it's not cheap where you kind of feel like, oh, these pens are solid. These pens are going to be really nice to be able to keep with you all throughout the year and to continue working well past, of course, like your semester or the office hours. So like I mentioned, the Kaweco Sport Ultimate Gray is based on the 2021 Pantone color of the year. Same thing as the Classic Blue, which we actually just sold out of. We introduced that last year, and we just sold out of it now. So you might be saying to yourself, okay, Ultimate Gray, I've got some time just in case I want to just think about it for a little bit, which you do. So you don't have to jump on this right now. It's not going anywhere. We have plenty of stock. But if you're interested in this as like a gift for the holidays or anything before the end of the year, you want to make sure that you get on the nib size that you like, because then of course it may end up being that we'll sell out of, let's say, double broad or medium or something like that, and you might be like, oh, I wish I could have jumped on that earlier. But the Kaweco Sport Ultimate Gray is a fantastic everyday knock-around sort of pen, great pen to take with you on your travels and write wherever you may please, and it is also the number 5 pen of your September 2021 top 5 pens. At number 4, we have the Sailor 1911 Fresca and Key Lime. And you might be saying, okay, what's going on? These pens have been around for a while. We have the Fresca was a release in 2017. We have Key Lime was a release in 2018. These are also North American exclusives, available exclusively to retailers within the US, Canada, Mexico, whatnot. So, but why are they on a top 5 pens list of 2021? Well, Sailor, in an unprecedented fashion, made these pens available at an extremely awesome price during their Sailor Do Not Miss the Boat sales event. And this was something that ran throughout the entire month of September. It concluded September 30th, but you could get these pens for 40% off the retail price, as well as there was the Professional Gear Graphite Lighthouse, and a few other straggler type of pens that have been discontinued. So after years of success, and I remember that actually Fresca Blue was like one of the first North American exclusives that Itoya, which is Sailor's North American distributor, had introduced to the North American market. Because previously to that point, Sailor was rather conservative and very dry with their line of the 1911s and Pro Gears. It's basically, if you didn't like black or a blue or black with gold trim or black with silver trim, you weren't going to really like any of the colors that they had, because it was basically black or burgundy or like maybe a white pen, and that was it. Like, there were no bold colors. There wasn't really anything exciting and colorful like there has been with other brands. So Itoya decided, it's like, well, let's accommodate the taste of our market and bring in some pens that we think that people would be excited about. And so Fresca really kicked things off in 2017 and really, I think, jump-started the brand or the line, the 1911 line, in many people's minds, because this is a very classic shaped pen. It's very similar to, let's say, a Mont Blanc Meisterstück type pen, where you have a cigar type shape, tapered ends, rounded ends. You have a nice cap band that's here. It's a split cap band, and you have a tension fixed clip. The pen itself has a twist off cap. This is the 1911 large, by the way, which is the larger of the two. This is the standard 1911, which is, I would say, a bit more adaptable to many different types of hand sizes, so men, women. It's like kind of also, I would say, like more of a vintage pen sort of size as well, whereas the 1911 large has a bit more of that more roomier feel, I would say, and also has the 21 karat gold nib, which I'll talk about too. So if you compare both of them together here, the standard, even though it says 1911S and some people think it might mean small, it's not really a small pen. It's pretty, like I said, like it's very standard or average size for mostly, I would say, vintage pens. But I think tastes more or less have evolved to the fact that people like the bigger type of pen. So that's why they have the 1911 in the large. And the reason being too is that you have two different sizes in terms of the nibs, which also the nibs break down into 7 different tip sizes. So you have the 14 karat gold on the 1911S, and then you have a 21K with the 1911L. You might be saying, it's like, okay, well, I'm expecting a big difference, especially when you look at the price difference between an S and an L. I'm expecting a big difference in like the writing quality or the softness of the nib, the writing performance. And really, it's something I think that, you know, when you get used to how a 1911S or 14 karat gold Sailor nib writes, you could then understand the difference of the 21K, because it's just a very, very small, noticeable difference when you write with it mostly. So it's not necessarily something that I think people should just jump into automatically upon exploring the Sailor brand. Although people who like prefer the larger size of the pen would probably be more beneficial in just jumping straight into the 1911L. But we did have such a great response to this promotion. So many of these pens just flew off the shelf. We had Barcarolles and, like I said, Pro Gear graphite lighthouses. There was a ringless Epinard, which was with the 21K nib. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Anchor Gray as well. So that was another color. It was a very light gray type color that goes along with this set. And, you know, it's sad to say goodbye to some of these mainstays that have been part of a really successful Sailor catalog for so long, but they continue to reintroduce more colors. Like we had the Pro Gear in the Go USA. We have like the Wicked Witch, the Loch Ness Monster. There's just so many different colors that Sailor has introduced in the last several years. Too Hot Habanero is another one. And then, of course, you have retailer exclusives as well. So you kind of have to start to discontinue the back catalog when, especially if they don't sell as well as the newer items, which tends to happen after, you know, several years. So we're saying goodbye to these. Very few of them are left, but originally they would come with the 7 different nib sizes: extra fine, medium, broad, zoom, and music nibs. We do have a video if you're curious about what all those nibs mean and how they compare with one another. Check out the nib comparison video for Sailor, and that'll pretty much answer your questions visually to show you which nib size might be great for you. Now, despite the size difference, both 1911L and 1911S pens fill by the Sailor proprietary ink cartridge or converter, which both are included. And they're also gift box here in this wonderful Sailor gift box with a 1-year manufacturer warranty. A little card that's underneath here as well as the cartridge in the 2 cartridges in the converter. And originally, you know, of course, October 1st, it'll go back to the 20% off discount, but for the month of September, and the reason why it's on this top 5 list, these pens were being discounted for 40% off the retail price. Now, currently, though, the sale prices are 1911S is $220, 1911L, $312. And like I said, being that they're discontinued, we may not have all of the nib sizes available at this time. I think it's pretty much slim pickings at this point. So if you are interested in either of these, unfortunately, we can't give you the 40 off because that ship has sailed. Get it, guys? If you want to check out either the Fresca Blue or the Key Lime, they are still on the website with a few pieces available, and these are your number 4 of September 2021. At number 3 on our list is the Pilot Vanishing Point Black Ice Limited Edition 2021 fountain pen. My buddy Mike is going to probably start texting me and calling me names after having teased him for so long of the other previous limited editions that would appear on our top 5 list, that undoubtedly he's going to see this and be like, Tom, you're trying to tempt me again. But this is a gorgeous, gorgeous finish. It's an ombre style, and of course, you know, if you know Goldspot pens, you know our other exclusives that we have with ombre style, like the Retro 51, and we have a certain affinity towards the gradient ombre style, which transitions from a very light blue color, similar to, I would say, the metallic Pilot Vanishing Points that were introduced with black trim. So very similar to that. So, and it transitions, it's all solid blue here, but then in the forward part that's after the split of the body, you have it transitioning into a sleek black, and you could kind of just see some of the, I would say, pearlescent particles that kind of transition into that darkness. And then at the very tip here of the front nose cone, it's completely dark, and it's kind of a, you know, nice glossy sort of finish. And of course, to top things off, you've got an 18 karat gold black ion plated fountain pen nib that's on here. And it's only available in medium point. There's no other options of extra fine, fine, broad, or a stub, although we do sell the replacement nib, so if you would like, you could get a replacement nib in either of those nib sizes. You know, it's something that if somebody were to ask, yeah, we would honor that. So, you know, but just don't tell everybody, okay? So this continues the tradition of the North America gets a chance to pick sometimes with these limited edition styles of the Pilot Vanishing Point. And you can see whenever it's our turn, we tend to gravitate towards something very colorful. This continues the tradition of the Twilight, which was introduced in 2015, and the Crimson Sunrise, which was introduced in 2017. So it's been 4 years since we had an ombre style gradient Pilot Vanishing Point, but I think this does really well to complete, I think, the trilogy of Vanishing Points that they started back in 2015. It is a numbered edition, which is engraved on the ring that's over here, and it is limited to the year, so it's limited to only 2,021 numbered pieces worldwide, which really makes this a very highly collectible and desirable item because Pilot's a worldwide brand, and Pilot sells everything from friction pens, G2s, to Namiki, Rodin, and Urushi lacquered fountain pens that are worth thousands of dollars. So when it comes to an opportunity to own a limited edition that's going to be a collector's item, 2,000 pieces for a brand of this type of clout is not many pieces at all. That's why I think that these are one of the best buys in like that middle range. I mean, like, I know relatively speaking, middle range being that this is over $200 fountain pen. It's not anywhere as close as like their Namiki Yukari limited editions that they came out with in the 100th anniversary style, the Seven Gods that are, you know, $4,000 a piece. So these are pretty accessible, I think, in terms of if you want to start a nice fountain pen collection that I think appreciates pretty well over the years, because you have a lot of people who then back collect. If they get into these things, they back collect them, and then, you know, editions like Twilight will skyrocket in price because there's not any of them available anymore. What you've got on the inside of this Vanishing Point is the whole entire nib unit, and it includes a Con 40 converter. It also fills using Pilot's proprietary ink cartridge, of which you could find in the pull-out drawer of the gift box here, and it includes a cartridge cap as well. So when you install the cartridge, you do have to put the cap over the back of the cartridge in order to be able to use the retraction mechanism. But this is a really nice presentation box, very simple, elegant, and it matches the style of the ombre. So it has the gradient of the blue going into the black, which is really cool too. This Pilot limited edition Vanishing Point Black Ice is still available. Limited pieces available on Goldspot.com at the recording of this video. They are available to purchase for $257.50. So if you'd be interested in the number 3 of the top 5 pens September 2021, jump on this right away, because they are not going to last very long. Reappearing on our top 5 list for the second month in a row is the Edison, Newark, Orion Nebula. This is a Goldspot exclusive collaboration with Edison Pen Co. of Ohio and Mackenzie Penworks. This is limited to 135 pieces numbered and engraved on the body of the pen here. It's significant to the distance of 1,350 light years to the Orion Nebula. This is a custom diamond cast material that was poured specifically for us, that is actually based off of the dark Andromeda, but uses a light turquoise color instead of the blue. It is also a custom design that we had worked out with a few years ago with Edison that uses some parts of their already successful pens. Like this is a Menlo grip section that's here. There's a few elements that you could see borrowed from some of the current and signature lines of Edison pens to create a pen that I feel is one of the best, I feel, like writing and balanced pens, because I kind of give a little bit of my prejudice in terms of pens when I was working with Brian on this design, is that I love pens that post really well and have a super comfortable balance while writing posted. So that this fits the bill perfectly. This is like a pen that kind of feels that it's not a like overly large pen, but then again, it doesn't have that same sort of like smallness feel about it, because you have such an ample grip section, and I mean the material feels great in hand too, and you have a great length of it, a nice solid length while posted as well. And you have a flattened cap finial, and as well as the barrel finial, and there's no split here with the barrel finial, so this whole entire barrel is a solid piece. So if you don't want to use the included converter, you could also eyedropper fill this entire barrel and then silicone grease the threads to be able to use the pen with it completely filled with ink. The Edison Newark can also use international style cartridges, but it does not include any cartridges here with the box. So you can see what you get inside here is you have a sticker, you have a little metal bookmark, and then a large bookmark that are included with your pen that is nestled so nicely and snugly into this, this pen case that's right here. The Edison Newark Diamond Cast Orion Nebula is available in a stainless steel nib with extra fine, fine, medium, broad, and a 1.1 millimeter stub available. This is a JoWo number 6 style nib unit that, if you remove the converter, can then easily be unscrewed from the section complete with the housing. So if you have any other JoWo number 6 style nib, you could just replace it with the entire housing and everything. So, or you could also just pull out the nib and feed directly out of the housing, and you could replace it with, let's say, a Goldspot JoWo number 6 nib, which was something that we recently introduced to the website as well. So you could find just the metal nib unit itself, not the feed, not the housing, but just the metal nib, available in either gold or in stainless steel. Gold meaning gold plated, not solid gold. For the Edison Newark Orion Nebula, this is a limited edition, and it's also made out of diamond cast material, so it is a bit pricier than your regular production model Edison Newark fountain pens. So it goes from $169 if you look at, let's say, the AC/DC versions, or you would have this limited edition here with the diamond cast material is being sold for $225 and it's still available. We do have, I want to probably say, less than a third of the edition left, but don't hold me to it. Just go to goldspot.com and check it out so you could see more pics of this beautiful pen and then add it to your cart if you'd like. So there's your number 2 for September 2021, the Edison Newark Orion Nebula. And at number 1 on our list, we have the Narwhal Original Peter Draws Signature Edition Fountain Pen. This is an exclusive collaboration with illustrator and author Peter Draws. He is a YouTuber, of course, and he's got 1 million, almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So this is our second collaboration with Peter. The first one, the original Peter Draws pen, was introduced in, I would say, March of this year. I think it was a few months ago in March. And we were receiving them in very small batches. So, and we just realized that the demand for Peter's stuff is just like way outside of what we thought in terms of like having pens available. So just completely sold out every time that we got like a little small batch of them in, and we just ran out of every single time. And you know, and seeing and how that success had come to Peter, and that Peter was so excited by the response that the community had and that viewers were enjoying his pen and being creative with it, we said, let's go for a second edition. So this is a signature edition, which is different in a couple of key ways. Not only is the pen a little bit different with a different acrylic that's on here. So the original Peter Draws pen was completely clear, transparent acrylic with a black whorl that went around that was kind of like inspired by his drawing, you know, so he's got a lot of line drawing, line art that you'd see here, which is all black and white. So you'd have like a black swirling line going through the pen, very significant to what he does as a professional. And with the signature edition, you have a little bit different of a take here, where it's kind of a smoky gray, cool gray resin acrylic that has like a tinted sort of look, and it is ribboned with a white whorl, or like a light gray whorl, I would say. Kind of like white or gray. It's kind of a smoky looking sort of color. But everything else on this is pretty much the same. You have the chrome trims, you have a stainless steel number 6 size nib, and you have a brass piston mechanism, which is then chrome plated to show through that nice shiny silver on the inside that's there. So like I mentioned, this is a piston filling mechanism, so there's no cartridge or converter involved. This is the only one on the list that is a piston filler, I believe. Yes, that's true. The other key aspect of the pen design itself that's different than the original Peter Draws pen is the edition number at the very top of the cap. So on the top cap finial here is a circular chrome disc, and you have the edition number is engraved. So this was a limited edition of 1080, so 1080 pieces, and then you would see right underneath it is what number your particular Peter pen is. There you have the pen itself, available in either fine or medium point sizes, and this is a Narwhal proprietary nib. So this is a Narwhal in-house made nib. They tend to run a little bit on the thicker side than your usual European nib, so like a fine might write more like a medium, medium writing more a little bit more like a broad. It's a very nice nib. A lot of people have great comments about this nib on various other Narwhal pens as well, particularly on this Narwhal original pen. People are very much enjoying it, and we tend to see a lot of people getting into fountain pens through this Peter pen, through Peter's channel. So I appreciate Peter for doing that. It's getting a lot more people hooked on fountain pens, and that's okay in my book. So as well as the pen design itself, the new Peter Pen Signature Edition includes a brand new artwork that you see printed on the top of the lid that's here. It says Signature Edition. It incorporates some fountain pen nibs in the elements of his drawing that's here, and it's in black and white just like the first edition. And the Signature Edition is called the Signature Edition because it also includes a really cool card that has the artwork on the front of the box, as well as a thank you from Peter and his signature. So he sat there, and you can see it on his YouTube video introducing the pen, is that he sat there and signed over 1,000 of these cards. And it was pretty impressive to see that his signature didn't like just kind of devolve into a clump of just squiggles. Like it's really his signature that's on here. He truly does love the people that, you know, that follow him on his channel and watch his videos and watch his content and draw along with him and are inspired to be creative. And this is just like another outlet. This is a great way to get people kickstarted and enjoying the process of writing or the process of drawing or even just doodling, you know, and just being inspired to create. And also just to note, the Narwhal Peter Draws pen does also include a wrench, of which you could then use to disassemble the piston mechanism. So as I say with any video that we talk about, let's say TWSBIs or Narwhals, is that the piston mechanism can come out, but it doesn't mean that it has to come out every time. So you could remove the piston mechanism by fitting the wrench over here and unscrewing the mechanism free from the rest of the pen. There are some instructions here. There's also a video on our YouTube channel to be able to do that safely. But it's not something that you have to do all the time. Something that I would do is if I got ink behind the piston seal, or if there's a lot of staining, if I left ink in there for months and it's just really goopy and it's just not coming out by normal flushing, or if I'm finding my piston mechanism is really sticky and doesn't want to move up and down so freely, then that's when I would take out the piston mechanism, clean the whole entire barrel out, and then silicone grease the piston head, reassemble everything. You don't need to, it's just something that's there down the road. So we launched this pen back on the 22nd of September, and the initial surge just completely like wiped out our capability to even just keep up with the order. So to kind of help stem the tide and just to be able for our shipping department to breathe a little bit, we had to stop the ability to order the Peter pen and then restarted it on Tuesday of the following week, so the 28th. And so right now, at this moment of me recording the video, we do still have pieces available. They are selling quite rapidly, but we still do have pieces available. I'm not sure 100% if by the time that you watch the video, it will be available, but it is $60 on the goldspot.com website. So check out the link below for the Peter Draws Signature Edition fountain pen. If it's available on goldspot.com, you can still snag one for 60 bucks. If not, then I'm sorry guys, but sign up for a back order notification just in case there might be somebody that, let's say, you know, has to cancel or returns the pen. I don't know. Something may happen where we may find a piece, or we could also let you know when we have future collaborations with Peter, which you have to know at this point we're not going to stop here because of just how awesome that the reception for these pens have been. So keep an eye out for that if this is not available. And this is the #1 of September 2021, the Narwhal Peter Draws Signature Edition fountain pen. So there you have your top 5 pens of September 2021. Which is your favorite from this month's top 5? Let us know in the comments below. After a long September of working on it, the Goldspot Pen's annual magazine is now headed to the printers and is due to arrive in homes at the beginning of November. Chris will show you a few teaser pages while I read you this review from a customer who received a previous issue. Richard D. writes, "We received your magazine this past month. It is by far the best I've encountered. We get other pen companies' catalogs regularly, but yours have interesting articles with the pens discussed or referenced in the articles usually found in the next several pages. Brilliant. The other 2 company catalogs treat you as a source of revenue rather than a passionate pen collector with a desire to experience not only the pen, but the culture." If you'd like a copy when they're ready to mail, please use the Google form link below to provide your mailing address. If you're a recent Goldspot customer in the USA, you'll most likely get a copy mailed to you already, so there's no need to request it. Everyone else, please fill out the form below and we'll put you on the list. If you'd like to see our unboxing and review of the original Narwhal Peter pen, check out this video review here. Find the best Kaweco sport nib size for your handwriting in this comparison video here. Subscribe to the Goldspot Pens channel for more fine writing videos, unboxings, and pen reviews here. Thank you for watching and stay inky, my friends. Take care.